Ladies and gentlemen, I'm introducing now Darwin Green, CEO of HighGold. In the interest of full and fair disclosure, I'm a HighGold shareholder, as I am a shareholder of every company in this interview series. Darwin, first of all, thank you for your efforts on behalf of HighGold shareholders, including myself over these last couple of years. And thank you too for your sponsorship of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
Well, thank you for having us. It's a great opportunity.
Great pleasure. HighGold, from my point of view, is both an exploration and a development story. I've followed the company really since inception, and I'm delighted with your progress so far. I'm delighted in particular about the high-grade nature of your discovery. So before we go any further with the interview, what I'd like you to do is begin with a property description or descriptions, telling me what attracted you to the property and what the status of the property is now in terms of tonnage, in terms of grade, in terms of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we called ourselves HighGold for a reason. We are focused on high-grade gold. We're focused on high-grade gold in North America. Our flagship asset is the Johnson Tract project in Alaska. It's a very accessible part of Alaska, and it's a very high-grade system. We've now established better than 1 million ounces gold equivalent, just under 10 grams per ton gold equivalent. So grade is nice, ounces are nice, but even better is having the width that we have. This is one of the thickest high-grade undeveloped deposits out there in our view, and that's our flagship. We're growing that. But in addition to that, we have a great portfolio of properties, a very large land position within the Timmins Gold Camp, Canada's top gold producing jurisdiction. They're earlier stage, but we really like the exploration potential there, and they're also an important part of our story.
Darwin, when people, including myself, think about Alaska, they think about northern and central Alaska, about the Tintina Belt. They think about gold deposits that are miles and miles and miles from anywhere. Tell us something about your properties with regards to access and egress.
Yeah, no, it's critically important. It's the number one filter I take when I start approaching projects is how remote is it? What's the access to get into the project? And we're practically on tidewater. You'd have to build about a 10 or 15 mile road to connect the deposit with the coast and immediately across the inlet. We're in the Cook Inlet area in south central Alaska. There's a workforce in Kenai and Homer that support resource development in the region.
In terms of the development strategy, tell me where you are. Are you at PEA? Are you at pre-feasibility? Are you at bankable feasibility? What's the pathway to taking this gold from being in the ground to being in the bank?
Sure. Well, we just came out with an updated resource estimate, and that boosted our indicated resource by about 40% in terms of total contained gold ounces. And now we're just sort of that pre-PEA stage. We've been collecting the information you need to support the engineering and economic studies. We also recently completed a very detailed metallurgical study, which we got fabulous results from, excellent recoveries and really attractive concentrates. A lot of people don't understand how important it is, the end product you get, and how saleable it is. So we're now at that stage where we're starting to crunch the numbers, start to think about crunching the numbers, but we've got this interest in duality because we also have tremendous exploration upside, and we're drilling and finding more at the same time. So we're kind of taking a two-track process. And in addition, in terms of development, we're a bit unique in that we're a project that historically was actually looked at as a direct mining scenario where they're going to mine the ore, direct ship it to another mill further down the coast, actually in northern BC. Because we're so close to tidewater, it does provide some optionality from a processing standpoint. So we're now looking at both that scenario and a standalone scenario, both of which we think could be attractive.
And further to the development question, will the PEA be something that you believe occurs in the next 12 months?
You know what, we're going to make that decision probably after this season's drilling. We're certainly in a position to do it and launch, and I'm wanting to do that right now. We just happen to have a really significant new discovery that we made late last year. We want to see the results of drilling that this year before making that decision, because if it turns out to be what we hope it's going to be, the PEA would become stale and dated instantly. So we're just kind of holding off to see the results of the drilling here, but we're certainly in a position to do so.
That's certainly a convenient problem. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's not a bad problem to have, for sure.
So let's use that as a segue to exploration upside. We understand now sort of 1 million high-grade ounces. Tell us where we go from here. How do you make it bigger? And how do you make it, if you do need to make it more defined, how do you make it hold together?
Yeah, well, good question. I mean, one of the things of our it's a little over 1 million ounces gold equivalent, but it's all in the indicated category. We have another 100,000 plus in the inferred. So very high confidence resource. And one of the things that stands out with that resource is its continuity and its thickness. If there's one differentiator, there are other 10-gram systems out there. Very, very few. In fact, I can't think of almost any that are 40 meters true thickness. And that translates directly to margins. You know better than anybody. Grade is nice, margins are better. So we think what we have has the makings of the ideal deposit. It is open to expansion, so we're going to keep expanding and extending that deposit to depth. From a development standpoint, it's super attractive too. You can come in laterally with underground development and access the bottom of the deposit first. That means lower upfront capital to build your mine and actually lower operating costs because you can mine from the bottom up and use gravity to assist your mining. So we're focused on growing that, continuing to grow that, and start to frame some economics on it. But this new Difficult Creek prospect we drilled last year, it's 4 kilometers away. We drilled one of the best drilled, hottest holes of the year last year. It was 6.5 meters of better than 500 grams per ton gold with another 2,000 grams per ton silver. It looks like another Johnson Tract lookalike. It's part of the same overall system. We didn't get those assays back until the end of last year, so we didn't follow up on it. So right now we've got 2 drills on that, drilling a type grid pattern to see if we can turn that into a second deposit. So really, really exciting stuff for us.
That is exciting. So what's the enterprise value around the Ontario assets, which we haven't dwelt on yet? The 1 million ounces in Alaska and the exploration upside. What does somebody pay for all this?
Yeah, well, right now, about 30 million is enterprise value Canadian. And we've got 17.5 million cash in the bank right now as of last week. So we're well cashed up to execute on our plans. And we think values per ounce, high grade, high margin ounces should command a premium, a very significant premium. And so we think we're a great deal. And you essentially get a company making profile in Ontario for free right now.
What are the catalysts? What unanswered questions do you hope to address before next year's Natural Resource Investment Symposium? What are you going to do for people? What should people be looking for in the next year? Yeah,
well, my objective is to show that there are multiple deposits on this property. We got into it in the beginning feeling that was a probability. We have a big senior gold producer as an investor who has 9.9% because they see that vision as well.
Do they have a name?
What's that?
Do they have a name?
Agnico.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so we're wanting to prove that. We're off to a good start, but one drill hole does not a deposit make, so we need to get some more holes into that and grow that deposit. At the same time, we want to be in a position to show to the market that what we have already likely works very well with some economics.
So Darwin, if somebody wants to learn more, and they should, who do they talk to and how can they reach them?
Yeah, I'm always very accessible myself. I'm happy with people reaching out directly to me. Also, our VP Investor Relations, Naomi Nemeth, is a great resource, a seasoned expert. So go to our website. You can find the information for our contact details, www.highgoldmining.com.
It's a great answer, ladies and gentlemen. The CEO says, you want to ask me. Wonderful, wonderful answer. Darwin, thank you for your efforts on behalf of all shareholders, but especially your efforts on behalf of me.
My pleasure.
Thank you, too, for your continued support of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
Thank you.